I guess it would depend a little bit on what we decide. Like if we were doing the Chevron, then we'd probably do a more modern car, or if we're doing the Lamborghini, then we could do like a vintage one-off race or something. But I followed around with like a Mini Cooper and the Renault Gordini, and I was having trouble getting it to where I wanted it, kind of. Like they were pretty close and they were kind of fun to drive, but they just weren't as different as I was hoping they'd be. Let's see, what else did I fiddle with? Oh yeah, and I have my Holden and Mitsubishi thing. But until the Holden becomes available for everybody again, I don't think we could really do anything with it because we'd probably just have like two people in the Holden and everyone else in the Mitsubishi. So I'm guessing you didn't get the HSV GTS when it was
Um,
available.
I don't know. Let's have a look.
2011 HSV GTS.
Oh, no, it doesn't look like it. What year was it? Oh, the 2014 HSV GTS.
Just a second.
Here.
Okay, what was that now? Sorry.
You'd say the 2014 GTS.
No, the 2011 HSV GTS.
No, I've only got the 14, unfortunately. What did you have to do for that one?
I don't know. It was one of the I don't remember whether that was one that they made available through multiplayer or whether it was one of the single player ones or what. It's kind of like the 2014. It's just it has a like LS3 in it instead of being supercharged. So it's much more like useful kind of. I think it starts off in B class, and it was a really good car in Forza 7. So like I mean I thought it was cool anyway. I was gonna earn it either way, but I wasn't sure. Some people probably went out of their way to win it because it was good in 7. But I have like an Australian production car thing that I've fiddled with it. That's like it, the and the Mitsubishi Evo 10. I also kind of worked on the E92 BMW to go with it, and it doesn't not work. It just doesn't work the way that I wanted
Right.
because like there they didn't really race the M3 as much. It was a 335i or whatever. So unfortunately, with the V8 in it, it ends up being very similar in performance to the Holden. I'd rather have it be a little bit slower in a straight line, but have a little bit better handling and be kind of like a halfway point between it and the Evo. And what I was thinking would be fun to do with it is to run them in a race that's going to rain at
Right.
some point, like for sure, and not allow traction control. So that way, like the Holdens got better straight line speed and it's maybe a little bit faster in the dry, but then when it gets wet, it's harder to drive. But yeah, like I say, I don't know if that not enough people have it anyway, and so it's probably better waiting until they bring that back for everybody to do.
Well, we did have the Skyline and the Supra for a one-off thing as well.
Yeah, yeah, we could do that for one of them. Like what track would be like the most representative for those? Like when I think of Spa, just because that's where they both would have raced. Like the
Right.
R32 won Spa 24 hour the one year, and then like that Supra wasn't a very common Group A car, but um it did run at Spa a couple of years. Let's see, I was gonna. Which yeah, like thematically doesn't really have to make a lot of sense though, as long as it's a place that's fun to race them.
Yeah. Well, we kind of did wacky stuff at what's it called, Suzuka already, didn't we? With anime's builds.
Yeah,
It's just we also need to check that they're similar at other tracks, because obviously we only know they're matched quite well at Kyalami, really.
yeah. They shouldn't be too far off, I wouldn't think, because they were pretty close, like straight line speed and handling wise. It wasn't
Yeah,
like, one was noticeably faster in a straight line, because then the Kylom is usually kind of handling oriented. So I
right.
wouldn't think they'd be too far apart anywhere else. Yeah, and I don't know if there's anything that we can do for like a gimmick with them. As far as like a tire wear thing or something like that to
Yeah, we'd have to
or a
look.
format or yeah, like basically what we do kind of other than just race them. I don't know, people might also enjoy just racing them instead of always having some weird
Yeah.
thing to do.
Uh, could be kind of fun at Road Atlanta.
Yeah. I guess we didn't test them there to see how they go across the curbs there.
Or we could do the Nürburgring to make everyone get the other car. I like VIR, but I just don't think it races very well. It'd be kind of fun at the
Um,
at the Glen, but again, they might be a little bit wide for the bus stop.
yeah. Yeah, they're both pretty stable though, so I don't think that'd be a problem. VAR is kind of tricky because like, I think that it can race just fine, but it's more that it's really easy to get spoiled. Like, it's so easy to just drop two tires or whatever and just immediately lose a gap that you can never make up, kind of.
I haven't done too much Laguna Seca in this game.
Yeah, thankfully. They'd probably be pretty good there, though.
Yeah, I don't know, I kind of like Laguna Seca.
I like it in Assetto Corsa and stuff, but in Forza, I just never really liked it very much.
Yeah, Road Atlanta, maybe even Mid Ohio. I'm just thinking of tracks that we haven't done a load of, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, Mid Ohio's one that, like, we've done it a few times, But in a way, I still feel like we haven't really done it enough. That it seems like people are very comfortable or confident there.
Yeah,
It seems like every time we do it, it's a little bit of a struggle overall.
more reason to do it though, right?
Yeah.
Shall we see how they're balanced there? Let's open up a lobby. Yeah, you're already on it, Jesus.
I was looking through the track list in the lobby creator thing when I was looking at it. So
I was also doing that, but in the single player mode.
let's see. So I'm in Ohio
Um,
or Road Atlanta.
um, I think try them at both just to make sure like lap time and everything's fairly similar. Just in case one of the tracks they just because Red Atlanta's obviously got that long ass straight, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Which I suppose we'll get this. But then again, the straight at um what do you call it? Um oh
Mid Ohio feels long, but like because it's such a low speed out onto it and stuff, I don't feel like it's actually a very high speed straight.
oh that's the point. Are you driving the Supra or are you driving the Skyline?
I'm running the Skyline because I think it's the one I have the build for. I don't think I had
I thought it
the
was
other
the other
one.
way around.
No, I'm pretty sure I think I built the Skyline because my Supras already had builds on them, so not that they were like super critical builds
Okay.
or anything, but
My Supra's 485.
yeah, my Supras aren't. Yeah, mine I've got the Skyline 608.
Okay. Which probably means my Skyline might be slightly off, so we'll have to share builds of each other again.
Yeah,
Tires, soft tires.
Tars. Oh, in that year that Michael Waltrip took his dumbass to Bathurst,
No.
going on about how the V8 supercars, they just like our cars, but a little different tires. Like, shut up. Fuck. Just because it's a V8, it's real drive doesn't mean it's just like a NASCAR. And then they did this like onboard thing where Fabian Coulthard, I think it was, took him for a lap,
Right.
and he was like in the passenger seat and like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and like reaching out and grabbing hold of the dash and stuff like that. It's like shut the fuck up, like just playing it up. It's so fuck. It was really cringy. But like, bro, race car drivers aren't comfortable with other people driving. Like, I mean, a little, but they're also not spazzes. So, yeah, that was when that year it was like we're gonna have Bathurst on Fox Sports. We got our fucking commentator guys there, and when they took the green flag and he did his boogity boogity thing, I just turned it off and fucking turned on my computer and watched a shitty like 360p quality stream from Australia, rather than have to listen to fucking Michael Waltrip's dumbass. Or Daryl Waltrip rather. Michael Waltrip's not too bad. Nope, I forgot to turn off the collision thing. Or turn on always on, I guess it is. Well, the first time through, the Skyline felt great across the curves.
Yeah, I just pushed a bit too hard.
I never did fix the gearing in mine, so it's still pretty fucking long.
What's the top speed going down here?
I don't know about that thing. so I had the telemetry up. Um, this one's not as bad as the R33, but its power definitely falls away before redline quite a bit. Yeah, this thing seems like it's about ideal to shift about 500 RPM before redline.
I mean, it's not terrible over the bump, over the curbs.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to respect them a little bit because everyone knows what they're like here. But
Right.
do you see the new Jim Karma? The V8s are fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was well done, I think.
Yeah. I didn't see like the specs for the Pratt thing.
No, but the way it went over that river
Like
was
what kind
pretty
of motor
fucking
it had
cool.
in it and stuff. Yeah. And they do that kind of stuff in like Formula Off-Road all the time, but those vehicles are completely different to that thing. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of surprised it went over it like that with its like splitter and all that stuff on it.
Yeah, I expect probably helped probably having a completely flat bottom or something like that. It more like skipped over the water at
Yeah.
such high speed rather than how it tried to race the.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how the floor was designed though, because like if it was designed to create any kind of a like any sort of downforce, then I would have thought that it would have been a problem, kind of. Like the Formula Off-Road vehicles do it, but they're basically just like a tube frame with tires and a 1,000 horsepower V8 or whatever. So
Yeah.
they just kind of skim across the top, and the wide tires help.
No, I think it was just the sheer speed
Did
he
you watch
probably hit it.
past the ending?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, where they
Yeah,
hit it in a normal car and just fucking
yeah,
sunk.
when they drive
Because
the Outback. Yeah,
because when I first saw it, I thought, oh, it couldn't have been too deep that water sort of thing. And then when I see that car's actually sunk in it,
right.
I was like, oh, okay.
All right, this lap I need to remember to see what the top speed is down the back straight instead of looking at telemetry or my braking point or whatever. Now that I know basically where I need to brake. Yeah, I think this thing's one of the best vehicles I've ever driven across the curves here. It goes across them very nice.
It's still a bit of a handful. It's where you're gapping me actually.
Yeah, because your build for that wouldn't have been too far off for what mine was for the Camaro versus Supra thing that I tried. And I remember it being, like, not bad, but not quite as good as I hoped. Yeah, 142.
Yeah, it's about the same speed. I messed up the last corner.
need a little bit of fiddle in there.
Yeah,
Does yours not have the hood pins? Or do they just like not show up for me?
I will have to check that. Yeah, it's over a second I'm off that. There's definitely a bit more time in that, but I'm sure if there's a bit more time for that, there's probably the same for you as well. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Some with tuning, I think.
Oh, there we go. Gained a PI though by putting hood pins in.
That's fine.
It's not like it'll probably do anything anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go straight to Mid Ohio and see what it's like there.
Let's see. I probably should. Wonder if this thing's gonna be one of the cars they rescan for Horizon 6. It's one of the ones that's like pretty out of date.
The
Not
R
quite
the R32.
right. Yeah. Yeah. It's already up again. I changed the
Oh,
collision thing and stuff. Um, yeah, I don't know. I never really liked the R32 that much anyway. I like the R33 and 4 a lot better. A lot better, but
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
Something about this thing has always looked a little weird to me in Forza.
In real life,
It
the
just feels like it's
R32 I
ride
think
height,
looks
but
better.
yeah.
The paintwork and like the rust just scares me of the R33.
Yeah.
In the UK, do not if you ever hear anyone importing a UK Skyline like R33, just tell them to run. They're that bad.
That was weird.
Hold it.
Basically gained nothing in the draft.
Really?
Yeah.
Looks like I'm definitely getting on the power a little bit earlier there, though. Especially on that run.
Yeah, like they could probably be fixed with like diff tuning and stuff for this thing.
Well, you think it needs a bit more rear bias?
Just understeers. Yeah, just like it understeers when you get on the power there. I don't know, that was always one of the things that I hate about all-wheel drive cars in Forza. And it doesn't really feel like it's quite that way in Assetto Corsa, but then again, maybe it's just the all-wheel drive cars we've driven, like since they're mostly been race cars. But it's like it feels like there's a point where you get to where like when you have a rear-wheel drive car, yeah, like the diff makes a difference, but it's more about just like how you manipulate the balance of the car with your throttle input. If you want it to rotate, you can give it more throttle or whatever. Whereas with these things, there's a point where it's just like the only way you can change it, it feels like, is to make a tuning change instead of a driving change.
It's only gained 0.1 on you during that straight.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the speeds are pretty equal. It's just if I could get off the corner well. Some of it might be helped by gearing a little bit too. I don't know if like my second gear being a little long makes the understeer worse. Should still be pretty well in the power band though. Seems like for this thing it's like 6,000 to 7,500 RPMs where you want to keep it. That's like 274 horsepower from one end to the other.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to run that again, or should we quickly pop these over to Le Mans to see if there's a draft issue with these two?
I mean, yeah, we could go to Le Mans just to see how it works.
Yeah,
See, I feel like that straightaway though almost never has the drafting that we expect.
yeah. If it's
Because
just
like the exit speed onto it is so low that it's like you don't even start to get the draft effect until you're 2/3 of the way down the straightaway or whatever.
right,
Um,
it could be just like a mile an hour sort of marker we hit with these cars, though.
yeah, I've still just run the stock gear ratios with mine. Definitely not
Yeah, mine's
what I'd
still
run
completely
in a.
stock as well.
I think all I did was like the tires. I guessed at the sway bars and it feels all right. And I think I moved a little bit of rear bias in the diff. Other than that, I haven't touched anything else.
I'm pretty
There's not
sure.
much else to fiddle with, I guess, though.
Let's have a quick look actually. Mine's completely stock. I haven't changed anything yet. As the gearboxes are both stock, they should have the same sort of ratios.
Yeah.
This thing definitely launches a bit better than that one though, but
I think that's probably just gear ratio related.
yeah, does yours bog down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like real bad, but yeah, a bit. I don't know if I kind of like mid-range acceleration is where the difference is more.
Yeah, well, should we go back and have a drag race actually from the thing and just see how close it is? If we go back to that wall back there.
You even have little things lined up and everything.
Yeah.
Alright, I
So
guess I should probably kind of get the hit since mine's slower off the line.
yeah. If we go on 2 minutes on the oh no, current lap's different, isn't it? Fuck's sake. Oh, if you just count us in, and
Yeah.
then I'll go on whatever you say.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. A little bit delay in the voice chat though too. I guess we can.
That's right. Keep it like that. We can see it on the.
I
I
should
was
have
gonna
done
say.
the version with no chicanes, I guess though.
Oh, did you put the chicanes on?
I think I just set it to Le Mans.
That
Think about it.
I'm gaining on you very slightly.
Yeah.
So if you go first, I'll see if I can draft off you on this straight.
Uh,
Yeah, but it took 135 miles an hour to get there.
mm,
So it could be these cars just don't draft very well. You gaining?
I don't feel like it. Definitely wasn't losing, but
This is where I started pulling on you roughly.
yeah,
Well,
a little tiny bit.
the end of fifth though for me before you actually get alongside.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know, it's pretty close between the two. That I think maybe
yeah,
it's just one of these girls that draft just doesn't matter. Which, if it's for both of them, I don't really mind.
yeah,
As long as one's not like stupidly heavy. It's not like we're going to be going this fast. There won't be many tracks where we get to the end of fifth, sort of thing.
yeah.
Oh, understeer. Nope. Yeah, so drafting wise, I think it's probably close enough as long as we don't have a track like Le Mans with a ridiculous straight.
Yeah,
So it just comes down to whatever track we pick, we need to make sure the lap times are fairly close. Which, I mean, they were at Kyle Army, right?
yeah,
I mean, we could always race at Kyle Army. I've got no issue with that.
yeah.
Or we could just tweak them at one of the other ones. Or pick something completely different. But I kind of like the pairing. We could always see what people think tomorrow as well.
So what do we? What happens if we do that?
I mean, I don't know how many people are actually going to turn up tomorrow night, but
Yeah, or whether anime will turn up 3 hours late, or whatever.
yeah.
He'll be in bed already.
Ooh.
Not that I like Hockenheim, it's just we don't do it very much. So
Yeah, and then in the wet
it
as
seemed
well.
like maybe coupled with the rain. Yeah, like because it's kind of flat, so it might.
Yeah, we really haven't done it since 7 too much because we did the smaller inner section quite a bit in 7, didn't we? But
Yeah.
never
Yeah, we did a
too much
Ginetta
to.
Juniors at the short circuit here. Other than that, we haven't really run it for anything.
We have
Oh, and
just.
we did the BMW M1 Pro car for like a one-off.
Did you make your gearing better, or did you just have better launch?
Nope, it was better launch, I guess.
It's kind of cool. Already had a bit more slip, so less bog.
Nope, can't use that reference. Tried to use that little like painted notch in the curb thing, or like the green runoff to the barrier. Don't know what I drove here last that would have made me think that was what I should have used, but
Probably Jeanetta's.
yeah, that was weird. Not really sure what to do with the diffs for all-wheel drive cars too. Like we did our fake TCR season Forza 7, and like people were doing all kinds of wacky shit. And like, let's see, Stiggles was running 100-0, 100-0, like at both ends of the car. Tried it and like he's like, oh, it rotates better. And then when I tried that, it seemed to understeer more for me.
Right.
And then when I had to miss a race or whatever, and I like gave the setup to Ducky for him to try, he's like, "How the fuck do you drive that thing? It's so loose." And like, no, it isn't. Didn't rotate good enough.
For me, I kind of uh, tried to set them up with like a front wheel drive bias just because. Oh,
Earn car.
I've done too much. To make them feel a
No,
bit.
my car just wouldn't turn.
Oh, right. To make them feel a bit like front wheel drive, but I kind of like my front wheel drive cars to have a loose rear end at the same time. So I normally have
Yeah.
it like 75%, I think, on the front, on the on the split, and then I have like I normally have 100-0 on the front diff, and then I think like 30-0 on the rears.
And you just do wacky suspension stuff with it to try to
To make it loose on the rear,
get a
but
lot of lift off
grippy on the front.
oversteer and stuff.
Yeah. normally
I'd
on
probably
like a
just end up driving the Supra because I'd be annoyed with the Skyline. It drives quite nice, but it does need a little bit of fiddling, and I have a feeling I'd probably not be able to fit, like, I wouldn't figure it out. So
right.
during the race, I'd be trying to chase and understeering and just be like, God damn it, fuck this car. It seems like what happens every time I drive an all-wheel drive car. Even when I think that I like one, by the time I get to the race and I'm in the race pushing, trying to chase someone, then I hate it again. Also gonna put my Konica livery on the Supra. Less work.
It's a bit more touring car, this sort of track though, right?
Yeah.
Am I sleeping on this lap or are you pulling away? 0
Yeah, I guess that's
0.0.
one of the things too that I don't know how confident I'd feel with my balance work on these, because I'd probably always feel like the Skyline wasn't quite how I wanted it. But then, like, obviously in a lap where you just like square it up nicely and stuff, then it seems like it's pretty good. Oh, loser.
No, this is my best lap so far.
Even with that big ass mistake, at the same time.
Don't know, did something change in the track or is it no grip?
I think we're just not going side by side for lap time wise, anyway.
That's a 2:02.4 for me.
2021 where I nearly went off the track at the arena.
Is that that could be just the four-wheel drive though, dragging it through out of the slow zones.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a couple attempts, right? I am up a
Round
couple of
had a good
tenths.
first part of this lap.
I'm up 3 tenths, so
Jesus Christ. Alright.
Ooh.
That should have been an 012 probably because I was 0.491 down at the hairpin basically, and by just not fucking up that arena corner, I went up a lot.
Yeah. Um, I don't
They
think
were kind
there's
of
a
fun to
lot.
drive there though. I thought like as far as
Yeah.
Hockenheim goes, like and I think their speed is kind of good for the rain. Like they're not hard to drive, or this one isn't hard to drive at all, but you
Uh,
definitely actually feel the rain a little bit in terms of how it squirms around a little on the way into corners and stuff.
you do have to wheel the Supra a little bit, especially in the lower
Yeah.
sections. Which I mean, I don't mind doing. Kind of adds to the theatre
Right.
and the fun and the realism, I suppose.
So if we
Be interesting to see what that dry lap time was.
yeah, so I was just thinking we could do like one wet race and one dry race and then
Yeah, but would you go wet race and then invert dry race? That could be kind of fun. So qualifying and then do an invert. Because I think it'd be safer to do an invert on the dry rather than the rain, right?
uh, or we could do a wet, a dry, and a wet to dry or dry to wet race too. We'd probably have to do wet to dry unless we just went to heavy rain or whatever. Because otherwise, like, if we just went like dry to light rain, then for short races like that, the Skyline would probably have a higher chance of being able to just stay out on the slick tire in the light rain and not
Yeah.
lose as much time. Whereas like Supra wouldn't have that option for sure. So it'd probably be better to do wet to dry. I mean, run like a high tire wear multiplier
Yeah, that could be kind of fun.
maybe would be
Or you thinking like a
interesting
times
too. So
7
it's
or
like
something?
the
But it's a 15-minute to force not using a soft tire or something.
I was thinking more so that it's just like turned in way better. It's turned in like it was the wet and just like early and just cut right across it. I was thinking so that in the like the Skyline logically probably has more front tire wear than Super does. Maybe like in the dry, the Supra or the Skyline has to. I mean, not really like nurse its tires, but its tires will maybe hit 60% by the end. Well, it's just like a lap to go or something. And then in the wet, when the Supra slides around more, then maybe it'll fry its rear tires. And not like totally destroying. Like I don't want to make it a total tire save thing, but more just like a that last lap is a
Spicy.
little less than ideal if you
Yeah. I'm able to throw this thing around a lot more in the dry though.
Right. Oh,
I was really starting to enjoy
got a
that
little bit
MX-5
of the
race.
collision bug thing. Yeah, I was kind of glad to be done with it. The same way it was last season when we did those things. Like,
A little bit frustrating that we brought some new people and they were faster than us, but I would have won that
yeah,
race if
I
we
don't
didn't bring
know.
that
Like,
new
I
guy.
didn't. Right. Well, and I kind of didn't love bringing them in for the like season finale thing too. When it's like, oh, points are close or whatever, but because I mean, basically, if the Adriel or Adriel, whatever it was, I guess I should have paid attention when he said the first time, since it sounds like it's his actual name. Try to get it right. But if it wasn't for him, I think Calvin still would have won the championship, or at the very least, it would have been way closer. Because in the first two races, it was me in first, that guy in second, and then Calvin in third. Just because in both races, the Adriel guy fucked up a bunch and dropped behind me. So instead of just gaining 3 points on Calvin, I gained 5 points on him. And yeah,
Maybe we should
and
make a rule
then
if
yeah,
someone
they
jumps
had
in
the
like that.
Kit Kat guy, I guess.
If someone
That
comes in like that, we just remove them
is
from the leaderboard. So Calvin would have dropped into second or whatever it is for that race.
yeah, yeah, and I feel like that's like it's like Homer just pulls people out of a random Facebook group or whatever for Assetto Corsa kind of stuff. People don't really like come in and read the rules, which I think in previously for our Assetto Corsa thread, like it says that if you come in the middle of the season or halfway through the night, like you're obviously not in contention for points. So you're expected to, not take risks getting around people and stuff, which he didn't really. Like he raced clean everything that I saw. There was like one move, maybe it was on you that he made that was like in a spot that I went like, well, this seemed like the best place to do that. But I think he was just, yeah, like he knew from his fucking 206 in qualifying that he had pace, so he just wanted to get back in front. And but other than that, like he was clean. But like it says, like race people, like you would want them to race you if you're in a championship battle and they're not. And yeah, sometimes it seems like people don't do that too much.
Yeah, I was really starting to get a feel for that
Like,
track yesterday, though. I've,
yeah,
I've I've always struggled at that track a little bit, like just finding the limit. But
right.
I was starting to feel comfortable. I still made a couple of mistakes in that little chicane at the top of the hill. You
Yeah.
know, that grass patch on the right hand side, but
Yep. One of the spots that I always find interesting there is that second chicane. Um, like with the
yeah.
Miata, you didn't have to, like, you could even take the first apex of it basically flat. But just because you can, I don't think you should.
Nah, I was
And
lifting
I
off a little
find
bit
that's
and
usually
staying
a
left.
spot where yeah. Well, and I find that I'm usually faster than people there in clear track, but that's because I do sacrifice a little bit more to make sure that I nail the second part of it. And then when I get overtaken, then I get a good run through there, but then on the exit of the second apex, I am like running into the back of people because they had to brake so much for it, or they understeered too much and nearly went off the track on the exit right in front of me or whatever. So it kind of ends up like it works in clear track. It doesn't really work as good when you're in traffic.
Well,
So, and like, I feel like that's the only spot on the track where I'm actually strong. I'm just okay everywhere else. Like, I feel pretty comfortable with it. So yeah, like once I'd get overtaken with my bad starts, it was like, well, I'm gonna be stuck here for a little bit. So I was even like giving it just a little touch of the brake to set the nose at first going in there, and it still seemed like it was pretty quick. And then I noticed in the first race when I was following that it's like, man, it doesn't even look like they actually completely lift off the throttle. They just give it a breathe kind of. I started trying to do it, and it just made me slower every time. It also made it so you had to brake more for the second apex, which then
yeah.
put me in the ABS even more, and I did not like that.
Oh, god damn it. This car drives a little bit like it's got stability control. It's probably just the race slicks there. Because they haven't got a great deal of power, have they?
No.
Uh, why is all my laps dirty? Haven't set a clean one yet.
Yeah, my last one was my first clean one. Keep understeering on the exit one of the corner. Just barely dirtying it.
I didn't think I dirtied it on this one yet, but must have done it on the section before the start of the lap. Well, they're pretty close on time, from by my standards.
Yeah.
I was flickering like half a tenth up, half a tenth down throughout that last lap.
Yeah, my two laps before that were 56 threes or whatever, like within 5 thousandths or something. So I was thinking like, oh, that's pretty good. And then I found one spot where I picked up a little bit just by using a different gear and rolling a little bit more speed.
So yeah, I think these two cars at this track would definitely work for sure.
Yeah. They do like one in the wet and one in the dry, and then either do two 25s like that, or we could do three and have one that starts off wet and goes dry or something too.
You thinking like what three 20-minute races, or do we want to do um as it's going to be a one-off, and well, it depends if we need like a meeting that night as well. Because if we don't need a meeting, we could potentially run this for like an hour and a half or whatever. Have three 30-minute
Yeah.
races.
You know, we could do either way, I think. Really, like, for one off, sometimes attendance is a little bit lower, so just doing the shorter races so it keeps everybody bunched together better seems like it makes
So,
sense, but we don't really know what it'll be like after.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, we definitely
yeah.
maybe start need to looking for a few people as well. I think just like another
Yeah.
4 or 5 people would be a good. It's 4 or 5 consistent people as well. We need to kind of find.
Yeah.
Like even oranges isn't around much at the moment, so
Yeah, he says he might be here next week. He said we could have used him at Bathurst to get in front of Ball. So he wouldn't have also fucked up his strategy.
yeah, that's got a.
Or the caution to get DJ up there too. Like,
I don't know what we can do about that fucking clutch bullshit though. It's really annoying.
yeah. I don't
It's
know. Like, I'm a little mixed on it. Like, on one hand, like it's annoying to deal with when you're racing wheel to wheel with them, but
um,
it's not like it's made him some like force this season.
yeah, but if I was to do, I did a lap at the
And
bar first, and I went 7/10 quicker on a lap
yeah,
consistently, and like I don't want to have to start using it just because he does, if you know what I mean, just
yeah,
so I can race him.
yep. I was thinking, like, even with it on for him, like he really wasn't faster than us there. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I sort of feel like in some ways this is a car, or the Sentra is a car that exaggerates it because it has a completely stock transmission.
Yeah, that's
Would
one
be
of the things
interesting
I
to
really
test
liked
how
about
much of
it,
a
though.
difference it makes for, yeah. Well, and I didn't look at it, I guess, because this game's a little inconsistent, or well, the Forza series has been kind of inconsistent with it. Um, does it have a street transmission? Drivetrain? No. So, like, some cars have a street transmission, and at least in previous Forzas, all that one would do, well, it depends on what the car is. Like, if you put the street transmission in a muscle car that's a 4 speed, then sometimes
Right,
it'd switch it to a 5 speed, which is kind of dumb. But for cars that already had 5 and 6 speeds, sometimes a street transmission, it would do nothing other than just speed up the shift time a bit.
right.
So, yeah, that would help, kind of. And yeah, like I like the stock transmission, and then like I said, I like sport transmission too, where you have to like choose a ratio. Sport kind of depends on the car. There are some cars that have like shitty stock ratios in their gearboxes that mean that there's still only kind of like one obvious combo to use each week. But
Sure.
yeah, I kind of like that too. So I'd hate to have to get away from doing that. And like I don't know, I get it a little bit on one hand that he's like he got some fancy ass big sim rig thing with nice equipment and he's like I want the immersion stuff, but yeah, it's just kind of annoying.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, if he wants immersion stuff, you would not flat shift a fucking Sentra. He's flat foot shifting in that thing.
Is
for
that what
sure.
he's doing? I haven't been paying attention to what he's
100%.
actually doing. So
100%. The way he went past me on the straight, I could tell because like the revs didn't drop at all during the shift.
yeah,
So it just went. You could hear it like hit the limiter just for a split second. It's like,
right. That would be something that'd be good about the Lamborghini is that it's paddle shift and it wouldn't
yeah.
see any advantage for it.
Well, he's more than welcome to fucking use his clutch during that because it's gonna do fuck all.
Yeah. Yes, I don't know. For these things, it seems like the Skyline had an advantage in the wet, and the Super had a little bit of an advantage in the dry, but I'd say the Skyline's advantage in the wet was bigger than the Supra's advantage in the dry.
Yeah.
And also, it's something that we'd have to sort of go the next step on and start tuning and stuff too, because like if I was running shorter ratios in this thing, it would probably get off the line a bit better.
Right. Um.
So, like in the dry, its launch wouldn't be a deficit like it is right now. But as far as a combo, yeah, I think this is a pretty fun use of Hockenheim compared to some vehicles here.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you want to make a quick tune for it? Quick. Just do some.
Sure. Here, let me do this.
I'm just gonna.
I'll change it to like one of those practice things, so we can tune on the fly.
Right. Okay.
So that's one thing I haven't really thought about so far. Like I'd run shorter gears. I just haven't thought about like which specifically I'd change or anything. Whether I'd change individual ratios or just the overall final drive.
Yeah. The advantage that you had in the rain also could have been via me having completely stock tire pressures as well. I might have a slightly better.
Yeah. Let's see how this feels for gear.
I mean, I'd be even kind of happy to have just stock tunes with these, so we just save each other's tune and we share them with everyone.
Yeah.
Each.
Some lady gave birth to a child in the back of one of those self-driving taxis.
Oh shit.
Do you guys have those fucking like remote control coolers, drone
Nah.
things there? Like just drive down the sidewalk and stuff. We don't really have them here that I know of, but like we have them in the States overall. Like I've seen them on things. I saw one the other day that was one of those with a coffin strapped to the top of it, just like cruising down the sidewalk. And like I'm sure that was a prank. Like that wasn't real, but like it didn't make me
Somebody
fucking
got there.
laugh though. People are just like somebody in their car has a video of it going, man, what the fuck? Look at this. Like,
Oh.
it won't surprise me if it's one of those. What the fuck is that guy? There's that Michael somebody guy that like he's a like pock-faced kind of like nerd guy with glasses that makes funny electronic stuff. He made the Roomba that like as it runs around the room and bonks into walls and like crashes in the wall and goes, "Ow, god damn it!" and like backs up and then bumps into the table and is like, "Fuck!" and like just cusses every fucking time that it does anything. And then he like took it to grocery store to like shopping places and was like, "Oh look, would you like to see our new product? This room." And he like puts it on the floor and like this grandma, like starts laughing at it. And some people didn't think it was funny really, but wouldn't surprise me if the like remote control coffin delivery thing was one of his ideas. Goes 5 more chains.
That's pretty much everything this car had. That was a pretty decent lap. Is there much more in the skyline?
Yeah, a bit. Actually, didn't see what my last lap was. It was up on that, but it was dirtied. Or, well, I guess it wasn't, because that one's recorded as dirtied. Maybe that was, but yeah, I'm up a little bit now, yeah.
I'm just gonna try something drastic with the bars. But yeah, that felt pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. I was kind of suspicious as this thing would gain more from tuning than that thing would. Yeah, I fucking hate all-wheel drive cars. Even still, I feel like there's a few spots where, like, if I just rotated a little bit better, I could get through it a bit better. Like that right-hander after the Mercedes arena corner. Still have to, like, hesitate through there because it'll understeer out and dirty. I don't think there's a lot more in it than that, though, with this tune anyway. But it's still too much a bit.
Not quite. That was on low fuel though as well. I don't know how low your fuel was, but
Yeah, mine was. Mine was telling me that I didn't have another lap left. I think it was wrong, but
yeah,
it
yeah.
was
Mine
telling me
told
to
me I
pit
needed to pit.
on when I started it.
Okay, I'm getting even more happy about that because that's some pretty pretty damn close times, right? Yeah, I went max hard on the bars, and it definitely helped over a couple of the bumps, which did upset it before.
Yeah.
So again, they're still relatively close. I don't know how much more's still to come in the skyline, but
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably not the person to figure it out.
yeah. But then if you're not the person to figure out who is in our group anyway,
Honestly, it's better with all-wheel drive stuff.
I personally kind of want to drive the Supra because it sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But I suppose I do probably need to do some testing in the Supra, in the Skyline, sorry.
Yeah.
Then the only thing we really need to figure out for these is um, if we're going to put some sort of wheel on it, or we're just going to leave it stock wheels.
I feel like we have to put a good wheel on it, especially since there's actually a lot of Japanese car wheels in this game.
Right.
Some things that look period correct. I think there's some work wheels that look like what the Supra would have run for Group A stuff. At least in the one that I'm thinking of, there's like a blue car that is like a Tom's thing, I think.
Oh, what's that wheel? Volks Racing. Let's have a look.
Yeah, this is the one that I was thinking of. Whoops it. Or
Yeah, it's similar to the one I'm just also looking at. Yeah, that is the same one, just different color.
I'm pretty sure there's a work wheel that's like that.
Uh, the Volks Racing TE37s kind of look like that.
The T37V one.
The Mark II.
Yeah, T37V Mark II limited model. Might as well have the longest fucking name.
Yeah, they kind of
Yeah,
look
those would
similar.
work. Yeah. Workmeister CR01 is kind of similar. Workmeister 3-piece is kind of, but not quite.
It's hard to see because of the color of the. Yeah, I kind of like those work ones, but are they deep dish on the rear though? Oh, they are. They're both really deep dish.
Yeah, they are a bit. The Meister S1 three-piece is kind of similar and not quite as deep dish, but
Yeah. Yeah, so the ones that are on the Supra Volk ZE40s, but we don't have.
yeah. That was always something I didn't understand why they didn't just add more wheels progressively to the game. Like, it seems compared to adding body kits or entirely new cars or something, it's a relatively small thing to model, and it seems like everyone would be happy about it, especially if they did a better job getting like a variety of wheels, because we do have a lot of wheels that work good for Japanese cars between the Volks and the Works,
Yeah.
and but like we don't have many vintage wheels cars. Like the RS Watanabes are like the only one of the only good vintage wheels we have. So like yeah, we needed some more, and I think the community would have been pretty happy if they're like, "Hey guys, sorry, no new cars in this update, but here's 30 new sets of wheels." Like,
Did you have you seen the Castrol number 15 wheels? Because on the rear it looks like they've also got that wheel, but on the front they've got one of those aerodynamic disc things.
yeah, that happened a bit with some of the Group A cars throughout the. I haven't seen that specific one, but yeah, that's all right. The sort of Marlboro looking Castrol one.
Yeah. We have.
There's
I'm
also
pretty
like
sure
the Minolta.
we've got some of those disc things in here though,
Yeah, we
right?
have a couple of different Aero disc wheels. There's a couple of different ones. There's an HRE one that's like designed to mimic it kind of without really being like a full-on one. Uh,
Yeah.
what was the other one that? There's another one that is a pretty one that has like a pattern on it too, and I can't remember if you can
Oh,
like
the
once you change
rotiform,
the wheel color if the pattern goes away.
the rotiform motorsport disc.
Maybe. Where the hell? There's so many fucking rotiforms. I scroll through all the fucking. Oh yeah, there's Aero disc. So I don't know if when you paint them, whether it takes that red and gray stuff off of it.
Yeah, if it
I
didn't,
mean,
that'd
not
be
that it
kind of
looks
cool.
particularly awful, but it'd be kind of better without it, I think. Or it would for certain liveries anyway, I guess, too. And then I think there's another one too. Or well, I know there's the BBS ones too, but those are not like those. Those are like the old school cone style ones. Let's see, there's another one somewhere too. Oh yeah, there's the fucking hideous 1552 one.
Huh.
That one should be illegal. Like that one should be a fucking trap thing. Like if you use it, you just get banned instantly.
I'm not sure if I've seen that one.
It's just an arrow disc with fucking it's like
Oh, right, yeah.
sky blue with purple splatter shit all over it.
If you paint them, do they disappear as
Chomp
well?
found a livery that someone well I haven't tried it in this game, but in Horizon, no. You couldn't paint over them. And like Forza 7, I think we had them too. Maybe they got added. Um But Chomp found a fucking awful car in like Horizon 3 or 4 or whatever it was where that was first added, where the entire livery, like you could match the wheel to it, and it's like, oh my fucking god, it's the ugliest fucking car. And he loved it just because I hated it. See, there's
Yeah,
another different wheel that the Supra ran that's kind of like this 1552 monoblock tarmac, kind of similar to it. It looks like, maybe it's just like a more standard like white five spoke too. Could be used if the other ones all look too deep dish or whatever, but
well, I quite like the which one is it? Is it that one? No, I saw one five-spoke one which looked really good on it. Just looked like kind of period correct. It could have been that one. It must have been that one.
the Workmeister L1 three-piece is six-spoke instead of five-spoke, but it also kind of works good for that look like the Blue Fujitsu one has. And they're not quite as deep dish as the other ones.
Yeah, there's the Landvec LS1 as well, which is five-spoke.
Which one?
The Landvec LS1. That's a works wheel.
Oh.
That kind of looks like the ones.
Ah, yeah.
How do I share that with you? Download image.
There's also the Gnosis HS203 works that look kind of similar too. Like, as far as like similar vintage, I mean, like they're a little bit of a lip to them and stuff.
Like
Yeah.
if you look at like the pattern, how the actual pattern works, kind of looks as well. Kind of
Yeah, the
looks
way
good.
the spoke has a little bit of a dish to the individual
Yeah.
spokes. I don't know. As long as they look about right, I don't think it matters too much. But
Yeah.
it's kind of fun sometimes to see if you can
Um,
find one that's
the
pretty
Landvec
similar.
LS1 though is the exact same weight as the stock wheels, which is one bonus.
Yeah.
So theoretically, it shouldn't change anything. I'm pretty happy with
The
the.
Skyline also ran some different wheels, so like it also ran a kind of five spoke, kind of like the Super did at one point, and also a pretty plain one. Also ran like a more multi-spoke too at one point, like on the Fed Powercraft car, which that one would be similar to this. No, but that looks good.
Um, I've seen one which obviously, when you paint the chrome wheels, does the chrome disappear, or is it just the insert that gets painted?
Most of the time, the chrome disappears. There's a few that
Because the
it doesn't, but
HS203
most of the time it does.
kind of looks like one that I've got here. So is it mirror? My screen got my screen did go dark. Why has it gone that? Yeah, I've got a picture of one of the Skylines with a wheel that looks a little bit like the Works HS203. Kind of looks similar.
Find that.
But the only difference is they're white. It's the Gnosis HS203.
Ah, yeah. One that's a little bit similar to the HS202 as well, but that's not, except for these have like an offset.
They do mainly look like five spokes, the ones I'm seeing there.
Yeah, the Japanese ones did mostly like the Taisei and the Calsonic and stuff. But there was like that yellow and green BP thing. It ran like a gold, like more multi-sport, like mesh style almost. Same thing with the Fett Powercraft white and blue car.
It's a shame we can't have
The
different wheels
Australian
on the front.
ones, yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done that. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised that they haven't done that for Forza Motorsport, but like even in Horizon, you can't do that.
Well, funny enough, I've actually got a picture of one which has got a two Nissan. On the front, it's got one of those aero ones, but then on the back, it's got one that looks like
Yeah,
the Grand Seeker CCX.
yeah, yeah. Some of them ran something that's kind of like the Grand Seeker. Um, like that Axial or Axia or whatever the splatter paint one is, kind of had it. Uh,
And
the Fat
there's
Powercraft car.
it's got one here which has got the aero wheels on front and back.
Like the Australian ones just ran a more plain five-spoke one, like the Winfield and the factory cars, which, I mean, I don't know, looks okay, but it's actually not too far off from the factory wheel. One that I kind of like, it's not exactly like the thing, but the Work VS XX. If you like painted the spokes gold, so it'd kind of match the other ones. Like the mesh isn't quite as tight for the spokes, but it looks kind of right, depth-wise and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen one that looks quite similar to that actually. Yeah, it's even got a similar the Sport GTR replica. Oh, so that's a replica, so it might not have the same rules anyway. But is there any that sticks out that make it the same weight, so it doesn't really
Um,
affect the balance of the cars of what we've got right now?
let's see. 608. Um, I wish you could like sort them by weight instead of just by brand.
That would have been a nice addition.
There used to be like in the olden days of Forza, there was I don't know, like Forza 3 or 4 was I think the last time they updated it. There was a guy that had like a thing on his website that would list all of the wheels in Forza, and you could click on like the different things, and it would show you only the ones that line up with a certain weight. It's kind of nice.
Have you seen the new data logger stuff that Gran Turismo's got?
Not really. I've seen, I saw that they were doing it, but I haven't seen anything about how it works or anything like that.
It looks pretty fucking good, to be fair. I'm a little bit jealous. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's something that they should have implemented when they do all that hot lap stuff in Rivals.
Yeah.
So they can show
That's
yours
another thing with them.
and
They're
your
just
rival.
so content to do as little as they can.
Yeah.
Even for this one that was supposed to be like the whole rebirth of the series and everything.
Holy grail of Forza.
Yeah.
And literally, we've just got
Title that could last for 10 years with updates. Oh, never mind, it only lasts 2 years.
without
So the
updates.
only thing that I found that obviously comes out, unfortunately, would require a paint to look close to one. But the rotiform INUE is like a weird looking, like metallic blue teal kind of thing and whatever. But it's pretty close to what like the Japan or the Australian cars ran.
Anyway, oh yeah,
That's the only thing that I found so far that is the same weight as stock. That's
right.
right. Like so, like if you painted it white, basically it'd look pretty dang close to the like so what the Australian cars had.
Yeah. Well, let's just go with that for now then. I think.
See, and then I can put one click of drive shaft in this thing and not change the PI. The street.
I
I don't know.
cannot
We need to
do
try
that.
this again though in the wet now. Like if I picked up enough pace in the dry to run a pretty similar lap time to that thing in the dry, then I don't know what it's going to be like in the wet. Let's see.
Yeah.
Mid moderate rain this time.
Yeah, moderate rain. Probably could see quite a big difference between the two. Oh,
Oh. You got a penalty for that too. You're the one that ended up backwards. Alright, I was just gonna test and see. Yeah, like my launch doesn't get a bunch of wheel spin now because it's wet. Some guy in the Reddit thing posted like, "I love this game. Not much more needs to be said." Like with his video, and it was like coming out of the second to last corner at Brands Hatch and GT cars. A car like, I mean, 15 car lengths in front of him drives off the like they drop tires on the right hand side of the track coming off the corner,
right.
and then crash into the wall on the left and bounce off of the wall right back out in the middle of the track. And like they were flashing from there, they went ghosted off and then unghosted and then ghosted again and whatever. And he just drives straight at them and they unghost like the second he gets to them and slams into them and fucks them both up or whatever. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, okay, I get the ghost thing is kind of dumb, But like, this is why it's a bad idea. It just makes you a fucking idiot. You were driving full throttle at a car that was in the middle of a crash, and you're like, "Oh, stupid game!" Like, God damn.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah. I get that people online don't have good etiquette and do dumb stuff all the time, like drive right back out in the middle of the track in front of you and stuff, but like ghosting them because of it long term isn't gonna, like, nobody's gonna learn to do anything else. Of
Better
course,
if
with
they
the way
just had.
Forza is, like, I mean, I can only imagine how many clips they have, like, on iRacing and stuff per day to sort out.
Right.
So I can only imagine it'd be like on Forza, where most people are fucking terrible. If you had to like review every clip and get in trouble for making unsafe rejoins and stuff, it's not gonna happen.
It'd be better if they just had realistic damage like in that game here, because half of them wouldn't get off the side of the
Yeah.
wall anyway.
Yeah.
The damage model's the exact same as that of 7, isn't it, really? Just
Yeah.
absolute garbage.
I really miss the old progressive damage model from like Forza 2 and 3 and stuff, where
Well, I was
like running your
hopeful.
car bottomed out and you get like slowly gain suspension damage from like hammering curbs and like at the Norwich Sci-Fi, I remember like Flansgarden Jump. People would run their car really low to the ground and it would like slowly damage your front splitter. And a little bit of damage really didn't matter, like 2 or 3% or whatever, but as the race wore on, if you just did it every lap, then you'd start to feel it at the end, like it was interesting.
There was a. I think it was for Forza 6. Like, one of the trailers had one of the cars crashing and, like, parts of the car flying off. And then it
Yeah.
never actually come to the game where there was damage to parts falling off.
Yeah, our wings used to fall off. And mirrors. I remember I had a funny death of a mirror at like Long Beach when we were racing the Clios there. In Forza 6, I think it was. Where I like clipped the mirror on the wall basically. And instead of it bouncing off, it like for a split second acted like there were just wires still holding it on or whatever.
Hmm.
So instead of it just immediately flying off, it like drooped down on the door of the car and then fell off. It took me 4 tries, I think, but I got turn one without flying off the track.
So it's still pretty close then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not got a lot more. Maybe another tenth or two.
God damn it. Yeah, I could match that, but that doesn't. It doesn't feel
Um,
like there's much more than that. I mean, like I was a tenth and a half, a bit up on that one after a little, like getting back to the throttle a little too late at the hairpin. Not by much though. It was just not trusting out to understeer over into that massive bump thing.
yeah, I'm only up hundredths of a second. It'd be so easy just to lose it. I can't find any more than that. A tenth. And then I over. Oh, have you not got damage turned on?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I just my RPM went to 9,000. I'm out of fuel now though.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like I messed up one of the corners a little bit, but I actually gained a tenth on it from whatever my previous one was, so maybe I didn't. That felt pretty good everywhere else.
For me, that's still bloody close though. I'm pretty happy with considering how close they are on their top speed and everything. I don't think we're gonna get another way of getting them closer than that, really.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Like you said that the drive shaft on yours ups its PI by one. Maybe just do that. Like, can you put a sport drive shaft in it or whatever, and like give it 2 clicks and still keep just 1 PI or something? Real minor. I mean, I guess it might not even really need it though. It's hard to tell. Could
I don't think
do.
it really does, to be honest, but if I put 2 in, it stays at 88 because it's got street and sport. So stock's 87 and then the other 2 are 88.
Yeah. So it could. I mean, that's like a small difference, obviously. Anyway, though, it's hard to quantify how much that would actually matter.
In the rain, it probably hurt it, to be honest.
Yeah. I can see
Yeah,
how they launch stuff actually.
yeah, sure. I'll
The
keep
other
it stock
spot
because
that, like, I don't know, I feel like in the rain I was struggling with it was the Mercedes Arena thing. So I don't know, like it is possible. We'll see if I follow you. Like maybe I was being too careful there and could find a little bit of time. I'm not sure.
oh
Yeah.
no,
Now it's
mine
dialed in gears. It's out.
no, mine's on medium tires. It changed.
Oh, mine's on softs. Yeah, I just noticed that. That's weird.
I was thinking, Jesus Christ, why am I sliding so much? There we go. I'm on the wets now.
Yeah.
That's the difference between from rear-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. Yeah, I think during the crossover period, I think that Skyline could be super strong during the crossover period because you could probably stay on the slicker tire for longer, or the wetter tire even, because you just got that little bit more grip on acceleration.
It would also mean that, like, if we went from like dry to moderate rain or something, and you were to miss it by a lap, Skyline would probably be hurt by it less. That was not too bad.
No, not considering when in the dry. I think the Supra had a better launch.
Yeah, that was before the gear change. We'll have to test that again too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, this is the corner that I feel like I keep ending up on the wrong side of it. Like I'll miss it by one lap and run too wide, and the next lap I slow up a little too early for it. I definitely understeers quite a bit for that corner there. there's new GTA download content today too.
Yeah.
Mansion. Oh boy. Looks like you need about 15 million or so for one.
I don't know, why can't more gaming companies be like GTA? Because I've never known a game to support and update a game so frequently for so long as well. So how long has that game been out
Yeah.
for now? It's got to have been. Oh,
I think it's gonna be 12 years when GTA 6 comes out, so 11 years now.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's kind of scary in a way, because it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. But I mean, I guess it rakes in money from what do you call them, fucking shark cards. So, like, it definitely has a big share of problems. Like, technically, it's never really run that well, and you still disconnect a lot and get stuck in the clouds trying to do things. Not as bad as it was, but like for me, every time I try to log into online, it requires two tries. One that takes like 3 minutes before it gives me an error, and then the second try to actually get into a lobby. And the game's just an unbalanced mess with fucking vehicles that shoot homing rockets and stuff. And like the economy is all fucked up because like every time a new car comes out, it like this time I guess one of the download content cars is a little K truck, and you can put like little things on it. There's like a drifting tire delivery one or something, and like a food one, and a Sprunk Cola one and stuff that look pretty cute. But like it's the cheapest car in the thing, and it's $800,000. And you're gonna have to upgrade it and stuff after that. So
Yeah.
like it's definitely tough to get into that without buying shark cards to start at this point, unless you have, you know, friends to play with to make the grind less bad. So this thing still has an advantage in the wet.
No, let's try that again.
See what?
Let's- I don't feel like I had a good lap anywhere there.
I already forgot what the tie was. 2016 is what I had.
Yeah, 2016. I keep having splits for mid to low twos, and then I'd lose it all in that back section for some reason. Uh, mid to low ones, sorry. So I assume that's me, not so much the car. I know this car just sounds awesome though. You're not launching?
I was just gonna give space that way. Why does it say you already have a 1 second penalty on my screen?
Skill. Yeah, it does me
Yeah.
too.
Jump
Maybe
start penalty.
is the lobby broken?
Yeah.
Do a 1.6.
Mhm.
And not on this lap, I'm down 3 tenths.
Alright.
He goes testing shit.
Yep.
Tomorrow's supposed to be test night.
Yeah, me and Morbid test quite often.
Yeah.
I
We would
It's
never
just
get
always
anything done if we just did it once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
I don't know what time I'll be able to. I'll make it, but I don't know what time. I got 2 doctor's appointments tomorrow, and I got a fucking job at fucking 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Yeah.
I might not be back till 10:30. I don't know. Not sure. They said a few hours, so what's a few hours ahead of time? A few hours one time means like 2.5 to 3, and another time it means 5 or 6. So you guys will start at 8 o'clock.
Uh, I mean, yeah,
Five,
hopefully.
5 your time.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm sure me and Ross will start another half an hour before that or whatever. Unless something comes up, but
Well, I know I won't be on at that time.
What's your PB at the moment?
well, fucked up this one too. God damn it. I was basically looking at a 201, 6 or 7 again.
Oh, fuck yeah, fucked in last corner. It was the other way around this time. Makes it look like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's pretty close, to be honest, in both conditions. The Supra's quite wary in the wet. You do have to be
Right.
careful, obviously. But I mean, that's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably worth writing out these builds, right?
Yeah, that's my only question, I guess, is just like, is the consistency bonus, kind of. I mean, like the Skyline's used to overshoot the corner a little bit or whatever, but it doesn't spin out. It soaks up curbs and bumps really well. So I don't know if it's, kind of like the way the Nordschleife went with the Cadet and the Volkswagen, where like I don't know if the Skyline's comparative ease of driving, like how much that's worth over the course of a race. Like that'll also translate a little bit to like when battling with another car and trying to get back to the throttle earlier and stuff like that while they're around. That you could lose less time battling side by side with
No,
another car in the Skyline compared to the Supra. So like, is that worth something? The Supra needs to have a little bit of a pace advantage to offset its difficult of like, increased difficulty to just drive it.
I don't know because I think
So that's what,
in the dry, I think it's stronger to be honest, slightly.
yeah.
And as
Yeah,
we're
we should
running,
run the dry again. Now that we've like as an actual race instead of just hot lapping.
yeah,
Now that we've fiddled with them.
um, just quickly join down the build. I am quite happy how close they are though.
Yeah.
It's not always the easiest to right. That's the engine stuff done. Wheels. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see is your launch better than mine now? Yeah, it's not very often you can get two cars which are they're the same from the same period, obviously, but they're quite different in how they work. So it's kind of cool to get them as
Yeah.
close as they are. In it. Oh, I think I've got it, haven't I? Did I have it still?
Yeah, just a little bit. Like the initial launch, like basically the first gear change seemed pretty similar. But then above that, there's a tiny advantage for that thing. Or at least it felt like it from my perspective. Like it put a couple of inches instead of a couple of car lengths, but a couple of feet.
Well, there's not many people that finish the fucking rally.
Yeah.
As you see, I did mine. I streamed the shit. I got a 5-second penalty for something that's so fucking stupid. I was so pissed off. You know those little pebbles on the side of the road?
Yeah.
I was going into one of those hairpin turns and I was braking and
Mm.
I hit one of those pedals and my car did a fucking front flip and landed on his fucking roof and it went rolled back over. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
That
those
is
little
so
pebbles are kind of annoying because they're
fucking stupid. You
like
should
they're a
never
little
do that.
inconsistent too. It's like some
Yeah.
of them you'll like realize you're gonna hit it and you'll like brace for impact and it'll just like clip right through it and then you'll hit one at the next apex and do a flip. So
I'm like, yeah, that's just. I was so fucking pissed off about that. I mean, it's only 5 seconds and it didn't change anything, but it's just like that is the stupidest thing I ever seen. A fucking car is gonna do a flip over a little bubble.
I mean it is also like a fucking tin can of a car though too, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of silly.
but still, it's just flip over a fucking little pebble. If it was a big fucking like a boulder, like a boulder about a third of the size of the car, maybe, but a little fucking pebble that I couldn't even really see. Because there was like one of the larger pebbles and I missed it, but then there was two little ones right beside it, and then it just flipped the fucking car right over. Doink. At like fucking 15 miles an hour. Because it was a hairpin turn. I'm like, that's just stupid. I could, maybe if you're going full speed, I could see something like that, but I don't know. Fuck, I'm almost scared of fucking I was sitting in third place. And I think only, what, 6 people finished it, though?
Well, 6 people completed it, but only 3 or 4 people probably actually finished it without dying in a stage.
Yeah.
Is it tomorrow it resets or today?
Okay,
Tomorrow, well, in 5 hours. Assuming I set it up right, it should reset in 5 hours.
If you want to go past me, I'll see if I can do the same to you.
I guess DJ died on the last stage, huh?
Yep.
I even beat him on the first stage.
I don't know, was I at least
I knocked
competitive
me
on the
out of
first stage?
fucking game.
I think you're probably still leading the first stage.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I was like, yeah, Ross is leading the first stage, and then and you died, and it fucking X you out of the rest.
I'll take it.
I would have been real close to you. Like I spun at turn one, like basically like going down the hill on that first hairpin.
Yeah.
I think you were like,
And it was like a weird kind of awkward spin. I was like 6 seconds slower than you on it, so like we would have been pretty close if it wasn't for my spin.
I was saying you were like about 7, and then Sean was 20 behind you.
Yeah, Sean, I like watched his little thing for it. He had some trouble. He like overshot one of the hairpins and went way down the fucking side of the mountain and like reversed back up to the road. And then it was kind of funny because he got back on the road and then like the very next corner it was another hairpin and he just fucking crashed into the wall and had to fucking 3 point turn out of that one too. Once I saw he had big penalties for the other one, I just took it pretty easy in stage two. There's like a part in stage two where it's really easy to die up on the side of that mountain.
I found it was
Like
better to move the brake bias because
backwards.
it had it at 80. Well, default was 85 or 87% to the front.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, I moved the shit
So
back
that'd
because I
probably
was,
work better in the dry than it would in the wet. I found that it made it lock up really easy in the wet, so I think I moved mine to like 72 or something.
I, well, I initially I moved it back up to 70, but then at 70, it was doing fucking when I was hitting the brakes in certain areas where it's kind of like slick. It was doing fucking
Yeah.
360, so then I moved it back to 75, and then it
Yeah,
didn't do
especially
it
for you,
anymore.
since you don't have any fucking finesse, you just mash the brake. I'm sure you were locking them up, so the bias like that wasn't good.
I was
Yeah,
trying
it's
to use only
surprising. Like, again,
three-quarters brake.
Forza kind of teaches people, like, the wrong thing. Like, there's very few cars in real life that you run rear brake bias on. Mostly it's like prototypes and stuff that have either big time rear downforce or big wide rear tires, Group C cars and stuff. And Forza, everybody's like, oh yeah, 48% or whatever, and like you don't do that much. I find in the other games.
Or in real
So like
life.
even with that thing, yeah, yeah, and like even with that thing, you go like, oh, like 60% for an all-wheel drive rally car, that makes sense, right? And that's still too far.
Yeah,
Like it makes it unstable sometimes.
you know those old 182s and 172 Renault Clios? Obviously, during the
Yeah.
annual MOT tests, they test your brakes, but they can't actually test the rear brakes because they don't read high enough because the front bias is so far forward. It's like over 90% forward on those little Renault Sports.
What's the next car going to be?
Lancia Stratos. Everybody's gonna fucking hate that thing.
I already do.
I haven't even driven.
Yeah.
I don't know, Morbid. I think just leave it like that until at least tomorrow. Anyway, get the other guys to drive them and see what they think.
Yeah. I say it'd be interesting with you driving this thing to see
Yeah,
whether it's just me or what too, but
I mean, it's 3:15 now, so it's getting pretty late.
yeah.
I mean, it's probably just got one time just to see what they're like around the Nürburgring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what we changed on the Skyline as well in the end.
Yeah.
So we'll have to compare each other's tunes as well. 'Cause I remember we changed some stuff, but I didn't note down what you changed in the Supra.
I thought
In the
we had
Skyline, sorry.
tried to change. I think we tried to change something else with it, and then we ended up just dropping one click of weight out of it, and then obviously added the wheels and stuff now. But just to check.
Lap fuel. Kind of interested to see how they drive around like here. Interested to see what the Skyline will be like here.
Yeah, I would think it would be a pretty safe option because it should gather up the curbs pretty well. I'm
Yeah,
not
it
sure if
should
I've
go over
driven
the
something that
curbs
gets
really
over the
nice.
curbs better at Road Atlanta. Sure if I have enough gear, I guess, for the long straightaway. I probably do, I guess, but it'll probably be a little bit above the power starts to fall off.
Wow, this thing drives so good here. Oh. Going a bit too far. Will it be flat at the top of this hill? I'm thinking no, but the grip's so good. Just a lift. Yeah, lift.
Oh,
Yours wasn't a lift?
mine understeered, and like it, I barely kept it on the road until a sliver of my rear tire, like in the understeer, pushed and touched the grass, which just caused it to wobble. Like, I don't think it would have been possible to put less of my tire off of the track, but it was just enough to do it.
Considering they haven't got air or anything and they're quite old, they handle bloody good though.
Yeah.
Is yours a bit too understeery here, or is that okay?
Yeah, a little bit.
Wonder if a bit of front toe would help that.
Oh, sport suspension, we can't do that, though.
Oh no, we can't, can we?
Got my bars at 25 and 35. 30 and 40 worked pretty good, too. 20 and 30 worked pretty good. Like, I thought it felt a little better at 20 and 30, but seemed to rotate at Hockenheim a little better at 30 and 40, so I split the two. I think I cranked up the rear accel a bit, just with a little bit more power to the rear. Like it's not bad, but it definitely is a little more understeer than I'd like. Also, tends a tendency to do that.
Push on a little bit too hard.
Sometimes, yeah, well, and sometimes when it's got a bit of, not really a lift off oversteer, but like plant the nose and the rear end jumps out a little more than I want. Like when it does it when you expect it, it's kind of useful sometimes for the turn in, but sometimes it's not ideal. In a high speed corner like that, I probably shouldn't have given it so much brake, I guess.
Need to remember I'm also got 265 versus your 245 as well.
Yeah.
That's probably quite a large part of that. Ooh.
That looked weird through there, the way the car like soaked up the compression, but I didn't feel anything, and the car didn't actually do anything weird. It's just like the way it, like the body moved, looked kind of funny.
Tried to separate from the chassis.
Yeah, see, if you look inside the car, its dash says that 7500 is the start of redline, and then it gets serious redline by 8000. And like I say, it's better to shift to 7500, it seems like. That keeps it between 274 horsepower on the bottom end and 274 on the top end. Yeah, you need a longer 6 gear if we're going to actually run this. But
I'm liking these cars very much. Yeah, so I just need to quickly jot down version. We do cars upgrade performance. Just realized they spell tire incorrectly in this game. Incorrectly.
maybe it changes depending on whether you have mile per hour or kilometers per hour. There is some game that does that. I can't remember whether it's WRC or there was something that I noticed when somebody like posted their screenshot of their setup that's like, hey, that's not what mine says. Does your basic Game Pass have Horizon 4
Yeah, I think it does.
on it, I think? Yeah. It's a shame that it doesn't have Horizon 5. So I think you'd probably actually have fun playing it a bit. Again, like the story stuff where you have to do their dumb things and other people talk to you and stuff is all really fucking cringe, but Like just building cars like this and fucking around in that game's pretty fun. Me and Troy always used to do it with Goliath races and like build C-class cars for it. Just like choose a random PI like 555 and just build stuff for it.
In the US, was the best engine you had in this Supra just a 2 liter?
I don't know, I guess. They're kind of like meme cars here in that like you'd never find them running. I mean, now
Yeah.
you don't really find them much at all, but like I remember it used to be like one of the cars that you'd play the Craigslist game where it's like, can you find a running Mark III Supra for sale?
Huh.
Like usually the answer was no. Same thing with Mark II or second gen
Were they just not well looked
M2s.
after, or?
I think part of it with combination was like the era, like compared to, I mean, like everything obviously was changing a bit, like in the late 80s, early 90s more, but like less people here knew how to work on them. And same thing with like 300ZXs and things like that in that thing. Like, I think they just were too complicated and people didn't know how to diagnose what was wrong with it because it was turbo and like we didn't really have turbo stuff here then other than like the Grand National was pretty much the only turbo thing we really had
Yeah, because
up to that point.
what I don't understand is
Like
in
finding specialty shops for them wasn't.
e- every car in this game has the best version of that car, pretty much, right? So why in this game do we
Yeah,
have the 2 liter Supra? Did you guys not
yeah.
get the 3 liter in America or something?
I don't know.
'Cause we sure did in the UK, 3 liter turbo, and it had 230 horsepower or something like that. But this is a right-hand drive vehicle, which makes me think it's potentially a Japanese import.
Yeah.
I don't really know too much about this era of Supra. Everyone's always
Yeah,
on
you really
about.
didn't see them very much here.
They did actually sell them in the UK, but they're pretty rare. And the ones you do see, which is
Thumbs
quite
would
nice, is
know.
in good
Thumbs
condition.
would be able to tell you all kinds of shit on that shit.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
it
It,
know
says
much
that
about.
North America, we got 3 liters for both of them. It says
well, for the
they're
turbo
both
and non-turbo.
MA70. One of them was the 7MGE, and the other one was oh no, sorry, they weren't turbos, but they were both 3 liters. There was the naturally aspirated one, and then the 3 liter 7MGTE turbo. 2 liter said that they were only available in Japan. There was the twin turbo one that was 207 horsepower, and then a 2
That's
liter
the one we've
naturally
got.
aspirated one.
That's the one that they've got
So
in the
that's
game
weird.
is
It's got
2 liter twin turbo.
hmm, there was also a 2.5 liter turbo. That was a Japan thing too.
Yeah, we only got the 3 liter
Yeah,
and the
that is
3 liter
weird then.
turbo. For the amount of cars that was sold, it's surprising how many different variations of engine there was available.
Yeah.
They are surprisingly
Let's see.
quite cheap in the UK though.
Yeah. Can you find ones that run?
Yeah, they all of the ones that are on here run. I mean, there's one with 170,000 miles on the clock, but it's got an fresh MOT on it, so it must be running. I only want £6,000 for that. It's kind of cool, actually. Wow, the actual engine bay looks clean as well. It's been looked after. Yeah, you can see why Americans would look at that engine bay and think, yeah, I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
The 7M GTE engine.
That's the thing is there's a lot of people that had like yeah, Mitsubishi 3000 GTs and Dodge Stealth and 300ZXs are both like crammed into the engine bay, and a bunch of, especially for like the Stealths that had like four-wheel steering, and there was so many sensors and things like that. So a lot of the ones that you see are like sitting in someone's yard, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fix it up one day," and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
just can't figure it out.
Thing is, though, I think unpopular opinion, but the Mark III looks better than the Mark IV. I prefer this over the all famous 2JZ.
I like them both, just depending on how they're like done up and how the colors are and stuff like that.
I don't know. I think a front end of a Supra Mark III just looks pretty freaking good. Like how it's got its like bonnet bulge and everything. Very
Yeah.
looks kind of similar to a Porsche 944 Turbo as well. Like it has a very similar sort of stance.
Yeah, Slow Z had one that you sent me a picture of that was his buddy's that had a twin turbo LS motor in it. It was like
Pretty
a
sure.
drag setup on it, and it had, a fat rear tire and like a skinny front tire kinda, and like it sat really nice, and it was like a really, really dark gray, not quite black.
Right.
And like it was a fucking sweet looking car. So like I see him, yeah, that I do think the Mark III's look nice, especially in the right sort of like the right wheels and color and everything. But um,
And the price
like
point is
it's
much more appealing than a Mark IV.
yeah,
Although the Mark IVs aren't as expensive as I thought they were. So I'm just looking at Auto Trader right now. And you can pick up a turbo manual for 35 grand. Which still sounds like a lot, but when you compare it to like an R34 or something like that, which is pretty much it's like rival. I mean, an R34 is going no less than 100 grand now.
right.
Is a Supra just too unloved? I mean, some of them are expensive. I suppose they've got like special edition versions, which are like super rare. Here's one for 18,500. Oh, it's an automatic, naturally aspirated. New MOTs, new Sport Cats.
And perfect to be swapped to something else. But
Yeah, but then you'd be spending another, what, 15 grand on getting it swapped when you could. That's the same sort of money you can already buy a turbo at.
yeah,
Is that a manual turbo as well, or is it an automatic? No, it's a manual turbo too. The UK ones had bullshit power though. They're about 50 down on the Jap spec ones. I don't know what's different on them, but
yeah.
it's probably just some emissions regular that's choking it, I expect. Because they have the same engine codes and everything. You can tell the difference between the UK one because they've got a stupid bonnet scoop thing which looks awful. Bloody hell, it's like 20 to 4. I best shoot. Have a good one, guys.
All right, later.
All right, catch you later.
See you later.